What's up, everybody? AMC stock up 25% today. GameStop up over 50% today. And they're doing well in after-hours trading too. Well, how can this be? I thought that there were 2 billion shares being shorted. I thought that the dark pools were taking over the world. I thought that the institutional investors had everything rigged so much that we would never see these stocks rise again. Now look, in this video, we're going to be talking a little bit about what's going on with AMC, what's going on with GameStop, and we're going to dive into what dark pools are and whether or not you should really be concerned with them. Because look, I know there's a lot of people out there that can talk really fast to convince you of something, and you might be thinking, wow, is this real? Is this what's going on out there? Should we be concerned? And all that stuff. Look, I'm not going to talk fast. We're just going to talk about what this stuff is, what you should expect, and what's really happening. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, let's get started. What's up, everybody? I'm Clay. You already know that we're making this the best year ever. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, click that red button, subscribe to the channel, and become a bro, because we're growing our portfolios and we're growing them together. Alright, so let's talk about AMC. AMC had a pretty rough start to the week, right? It was down, but today was an amazing day. We had a 25+% recovery. GameStop up over 50% just on the day alone, closed above $180 per share, and we're seeing some gains, right? Now, I know there were a lot of people concerned, and I did a video yesterday on why AMC stock was falling, and I got a lot of feedback about dark pools and manipulation and conspiracy theories and everything else, and the fact that, you know, just because the stock's falling in line with the overall market, look, yes, manipulation occurs in the stock market. It is regulated and a lot goes unchecked. This is true. But at the same time, we can't let ourselves get so consumed with what potentially is out there, you know, that we start thinking that we never landed on the moon, or that we start thinking, you know, maybe the Loch Ness Monster does exist, or, you know, that we start thinking things like, yeah, the world could be flat. So don't let yourself get caught up when somebody's talking and they make things sound really nice, because a lot of us can do it, right? I think they call it a silver tongue, right? You can say something and you can convince somebody of almost anything. So I know a lot of people out there are probably a little bit concerned with what dark pools are. I mean, even the name of them sounds mysterious and sounds, you know, kind of sketchy, right? It's a dark pool. It's dark liquidity. It's everything dark. It's in the shadows. We don't know what's going on with it. So let's briefly touch on what dark pools are and whether or not, you know, they can cause a stock. Let's get rid of some of the doubts that we have out there. So dark pools, yes, they exist. Yes, they are legal, and yes, they are regulated. What are they? So a dark pool is an exchange separate from the public exchanges. So you can think of like the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, stuff that the public has access to and is publicly regulated. It's regulated by the SEC. It's public information. It's out there. Now, think of a dark pool. There's about 50 of them that exist right now. Think of a dark pool as an exchange that's strictly between hedge funds, strictly between institutional investors, and the big players out there that are going to sell 1 million shares at a time, or, you know, $5, $10, $20 million transactions, things like that. Now, they're set up so that, and yes, they do seem, look, we can debate it all day, and I agree that dark pools do seem a little sketchy on the front end, right? An institutional investor can go out there, they can list 1 million shares for sale, and that listing doesn't show up to the public. So the public doesn't know that, you know, institutional investor A is out there trying to sell 1 million shares. Let's just use AMC as an example. Institution A is trying to sell 1 million shares of AMC, and the public doesn't see that. Okay, I believe, yes, I would agree that that is a little sketchy, and that should really be looked at. I think the public should have the information, especially if we're out there trading. You know, information is everything when it comes to the stock market and when it comes to money. If you're a second slow on something, you've already missed the ball. So it's sketchy on the front end. On the back end, it shows up on the order tape. So if the institution sells 1 million shares of AMC, it shows up that they sold 1 million shares of AMC. That becomes publicly available. And they have 10 seconds to report it to the order tape. 10 seconds, okay? That's in line with reasonable expectations and reasonable reporting methods that is accepted. So it shows up on the back end. Now, you might be thinking, if you believe the world is flat or something, you might be thinking that the institutional investors are not reporting these transactions. They're not reporting their sales. So let's just play into that for 1 second here. We're not going to make this a huge long video. I could sit here and talk for 19, 20 minutes too and really dive into things and see what's going on. But let's just talk about this for 1 second. Let's say that they don't report it. Okay, what would the difference be if they went out, if institution A shorted or sold 1 million shares of AMC, and let's say they do it a little bit below market price. So let's say AMC closed around $11 per share today. Let's say they sold 1 million shares at $10, but never reported it to anybody. The public never saw this. It begs the question, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it, does it make a sound? Okay, so think about this. If they sold it for $10, nobody ever figures out that they sold it for $10. How would that ever affect the stock price? It wouldn't. Okay, if they're doing their own thing with it, if they sell it for $10, if they sell it for $9, if they sell it for $8, and never let the public know that it was sold for $9, $10, $8 per share, it would never affect the public price. It's that simple. It doesn't take a silver tongue to explain something that nobody knows about won't change something that's in the public eye. It can't change the price because price is driven by supply and demand, right? If we know that people are willing to pay less for a share, then the price is going to come down. If we never know that people are paying less for the share, the price will stay the same. It has no effect on that supply and demand and that price level. So that hopefully clears up the fact that even if they're hiding it on the front end, and even if they're hiding it on the back end, it wouldn't cause any price movement in the stock. Now, it does get reported. If they're out there, if they're trading on the dark pool, it does get reported. And if that happens, yes, we could see, okay, 1 million shares of AMC were traded at $10 per share. Boom, that shows up on the order tape 10 seconds later. We can see a huge order come in for AMC. It comes in at $10 a share. That moves the stock price. But when we start throwing out numbers like 2 billion shares and look, I'm gonna lay it out there. You might agree, you might disagree. When we're talking about 2 billion shares and we've got volume that is drastically different that's being reported, it's like, okay, well, these numbers could not have been taking place then, right? And if they were, they weren't affecting the price. But if you see something and it's being reported, that's when it can affect the price. But we don't see 2 billion share volume being traded on AMC right now. It's not the case. So a lot of speculation going on out there, a lot of conspiracy theories going on out there. I will agree with everybody that dark pools are a little bit sketchy, especially on the front end, and that we get that information later than the institutions have it and all of that stuff. But you got to remember, guys, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around to hear it, does it make a sound? You can think about that when you're talking about dark pools and nothing ever being reported. If a trade's made and nobody ever knows about it, how could it even affect the stock price? Definitely something you need to think about. Hopefully, it sheds a little bit of light on the dark pool, right? Let's bring a little bit of light to these dark pools because look, if we're going to be investing and we think that we're really going up against such corruption and such And I will agree, I'll agree all day long that the hedge funds out there, they have their agenda. SEC has their agenda. The media has their agenda. Everybody's agenda is to make more money, right? Nobody wants to walk away with less money. Nobody wants to lose money. So yes, they've all got their agenda. But if we're facing manipulation and if we're facing corruption that is that bad, I don't think that the stock market would be what it is. I mean, we would be talking about, and I'm not going to name any countries out there, but yeah, we would fall in line with some of the highest corruption levels that are out there if this stuff was actually taking place. So, believe what you will. Do your research. Please do your research. Don't take anything that I say as, gospel. Don't take anything that anybody else in the media, on YouTube, in your family, don't take that as gospel. Do your own research. Make sure that you're comfortable with the decision you make, not only when it comes to investing in, growing our wealth and growing our portfolios, but in general. If you have doubts, ask questions. That's what the comments are down there for. If you have questions, ask a question. I love answering comments, guys. And there's a lot of people on here that are very knowledgeable that can answer questions too. So if you have doubts, please let us know in the comments below. We would love to just, talk about them. If it leads to another question or leads, we start pulling on the thread because somebody asked an amazing question, excellent. We can learn together. That's what we're here for. We're here to learn together. We're here to grow together. And the whole goal is to increase the value of our portfolios. That's why we're here. We're not here to, tip the rock over and see how many bugs crawl out from under it or uncover all these conspiracies or anything like that. I do believe that we are up against a very big opponent here, but I cannot move forward, confidently investing my money in the stock market if I would honestly believe that such corruption took place. If that was the case, you're better off putting it under your mattress and just letting it sit there, because you have to agree at that point that if that was what we were facing, it would be very, very dangerous and very sketchy, and nobody would win. So I want to know what you guys think. If you think that, I'm completely out of line here, if you do think that the world is flat and that we're looking at dark pools that are manipulating the stock price and all that, think about it, guys. We had a 25% increase in AMC today. We had a 50% increase in GameStop today. If we were shorting 2 billion shares of these companies, would we have really increased that much in one day? So, food for thought. Think about it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like the content on the channel, don't forget to click that like button. There's a link in the description below for Webull as well. If you have not made a trade yet, thinking about getting into the market, don't be scared by everything that's going on. It's going to be okay, right? We're not up against this level of corruption. It's not something that we have to worry about. And the stock market, if invested correctly, is an amazing place to grow your wealth and really take off and reach that level of financial freedom that everybody strives for. So use that link in the description below, deposit $100, and you're going to get a couple free stocks just for doing so, and it's really going to help pad your portfolio right from the start. Subscribe button one more time. That thing's still red right there. Make sure to click it. Become a bro. We're growing these portfolios, and we're growing them together, guys. And if you want to share this video, please, if you're still here 13 minutes in and you want to share the video, do so. Hopefully I didn't talk too fast. If I left if I left some stuff sketchy, hopefully we can still explain it and really get the information out there of what's going on. We're not trying to start any conspiracies. We're not trying to start, people like it, right? When you start pushing buttons and going places like that, it makes for good entertainment. But look, if you like the video, if you want to share it, if you want to kind of take away someone else's doubts on what's really going on right now, it would really help if you share the video, tag me almost anywhere. I love to follow everybody back that's tagging me in all sorts of different places. My name is Claybro, almost everywhere. So make sure to tag me. And until the next time, guys, I hope that each and every one of you have an awesome day.